Welcome. What's going on? Trickle in. It's so funny, for some reason I'm not signed into my own chat. Got it. Okay, now I'm signed in. Can I type now? What? Test. That's strange. I reckon it's because there's something wrong with the streaming software. Oh well. Right then. Shall we have a quick scroll, have a look at a few things, see what's been going on in the world to get started, and then I've got a few things to talk about today. I've had a few problems this week. Things haven't gone quite to plan. AJ Pressure Cleaning Services, welcome. You alright? These are a couple from today. You guys can't see that. So I just did a few little jobs today. That's better. Are you taking questions later? I'll take questions right now if you like, mate. You can kick me off, get me going. Haven't really prepared anything. I was going to write some stuff down because there's a few bits I wanted to talk about, and I've got to order some products as well. And I thought we could do it together. Yeah, I'm very well, thanks, mate. Oh, thanks. That's very kind of you to say. Thanks very much. I ruined the last stream because I played Squeaky Clean Dave's video, and there's a portion in that video where he's used like some music, some copyright music that he's obviously paid for and I haven't paid for, and so my whole stream got demonetized last time, which is annoying, but oh well. This was a decent one from today. I put a bit too much pressure on this table. Can you see these lines here? The black lines. That's where I was pulling away some of the material. I didn't know how hard to hit it. I wanted to clean it, but I didn't know it would strip it like that. And then just to cut a couple of gutters and faces and stuff. I'm new to the game. How long should I use my pressure washer before I give it a break on a job? I suppose it depends how reliable your pressure washer is. I can't really give you a good answer for that. It depends. What machine have you got first? I mean, these engines are designed to run for a long time, but I can't really give you an informed answer because I'd imagine you could probably go pretty much all day with one. I mean, I've gone with mine a couple of weeks back. I did a massive block paving job, and I reckon I must have been going non-stop for a good 4 hours before I turned the machine off to have a break, and then half an hour later I'd start it up again and go for like another 4 hours. and my machine seems fine. So I don't know. It's a good question though. It's interesting. I would have thought the manufacturers of these machines would take into consideration that they're going to be used, especially if it's like aimed at industrial cleaning, which a lot of these bigger pressure washers are marketed as like industrial units. And you imagine commercial work takes a long time generally, so depends what machine you've got, I suppose. Also, the best cleaner for decking, natural stone, porcelain, and lastly, if your washer is not in use, should I turn the water off to it? Oh, I've got a similar machine to you then. No, you don't have to turn the water off. You might find that if you've got perished O-rings in the hose pipe or around the tap or anything like that, you might find that the pressure backs up so much that it'll pop your hose lock attachment off, but it's nothing serious. It's just if you're not running the machine, there's a chance it could build up pressure in the hose pipe, that's all. But essentially, when you turn off the machine, that's like turning off the garden tap. Once your hose is filled up between and it can't fit any more water in there, the water just won't come out anymore, so it's fine. Best cleaner for decking. I would suggest probably some sort of biocide for decking. I've not used it, but Pure Seal do a Deck Clear Pro, which might be useful for you. Decking's always a tough one because even if you were to lightly pressure wash decking, or even if you were to use it on full power and get real close with the fan nozzle, you're still going to be left over with a lot of green generally. That's what most people find, and so you've got to treat that green algae ideally with a biocide, something with biocide in it, so that it gradually removes that green over the next couple of weeks or months. You could use sodium hypochlorite, but you'll end up bleaching the wood, and that's fine if the customer's going to repaint it or restain it, but it's not always the best thing for the wood, really. Natural stone and porcelain. It depends which sort of natural stone. There's lots of different types of stone. Most stone patios I'll use sodium hypochlorite on, but there's a few that you've got to be careful with, like slate, limestone. What else? Porcelain. Some of the darker porcelains you shouldn't use sodium hypochlorite on as well. Can't really think of any others off the top of my head, but you have got to be really careful with the chemicals, especially the strong ones. That's alright, mate. Keep the questions coming. If you've got things in your head that are bugging you, I know how difficult it is to go through and try and Google very specific things to try and get answers to your questions that probably loads of people have asked before. But it's not always like amalgamated into one place online, so you've got to search different forums and Facebook pages and YouTube channels, and you'll probably find the answer eventually, but it takes a long time, I understand. I don't know if you can see on stream, but I had an issue with this one today where there was lots of lines. So my problem this week has been, I'm going to try and send a picture to my Google Drive so that you can see the mistake I made this week. There they are. Share to Drive. Then I'll pull them up on the computer so you can see what I'm talking about. What you talking about? That one. Right, I'm in. I've got it. So, can you see that? This is one of my jobs this week, and I'm really upset about it, to be honest. So there's something wrong with my surface cleaner. In this particular one, this is a tarmac job. So before, over the last 12 months, I've washed loads of tarmac, and I had a job about a week ago, and there was quite clear lines where like tram lines where I'd gone one direction and then I'd gone 90 degrees and gone the other direction, and it looked great when it was dry, when it was wet, sorry. But then as soon as it dried, you could see these lines quite clearly. And I don't think it's etching the surface. I think they're just where I've overlapped. There's some bits that are cleaner than other bits. And then in this job, I thought, well, to avoid that, I'm going to do the figure of 8 motion, like everyone suggests you do, like a figure of 8. So you can see where I've tried that. And look at the state of it. Where's the others? Sorry guys, hang on. Hang on. Last modified today. Here we go. Oh my god. And now the camera's shut off. Perfect timing. So this is what it looked like when I cleaned it again. I will get to your questions in just a second, guys. Hi Mitchell. Hi Mr. Moo. You're right. So that's how it looked like after I cleaned it again. But then she sent me a picture and there were lines in it. So what I've done, I did this first and it left it looking like that once it was dry. And then I went back and forward with lines in one direction and then 90 degrees, and it dried again with lines in it. And so there's something going on with my surface cleaner. I don't know whether the jets need replacing. Sorry about the camera. I don't know whether the jets need replacing on the surface cleaner, or whether I've maybe bashed the wheels and now it's too low, so it's cleaning too close to the surface, or what. I don't know. I don't know what to do, because it happened in this job today. I don't know if you can see that. if you look closely, there are lines going backwards and forwards. And so I can't use this surface cleaner anymore until I get it sorted, because I'm just going to ruin stuff. These are just a couple of pictures from today. Right, let's get on to your questions. I have my first 2 jobs this Friday and Saturday. Very nervous. One's decking, then on to porcelain. Nice. Porcelain is easy, as long as there's no like real bad staining like rust. You tend to find some rust staining on porcelain when people put their garden furniture on it, and you get the little metal bits at the bottom and they rust, and then they move them around every so often, and so you got loads of little rusty squares. Porcelain's really easy to clean. Decking, not so much. The decking will take you a lot longer than you think it will, especially if you're doing it with a fan nozzle. Don't use a turbo on decking because you'll leave circles in it. Just use a fan jet, like a 25-degree fan jet, I think it is. No, what am I using? What's the green one? What's the green one you get with a machine? Is that 40-degree? Can't remember. And try not to stop halfway through the wooden panel. Try not to stop. Try and do like a whole panel in one continuous motion, and then sort of feather out the edge. If you do have to stop halfway, feather it out rather than just letting go of the trigger, because you'll end up with a line. You'll end up with like a harsh line. But you will want some sort of post treatment on it. I'd recommend Biocide. I only run my business from a car. Is a water tank a must? I have a wheelie bin to fill up if I have to, and last one if customers got no outside tap. So if you've got a wheelie bin, that's your buffer tank. You don't need a water tank, because it's the same thing. If the water pressure is not great, then you'll want to fill that buffer tank up. If the customer has no outside tap, can I use the inside tap? Yeah, so Screwfix sell a bunch of different types of adapters for inside taps. They're a bit fiddly, but they do work, depending on the tap. Some of the mixer taps are very difficult to hook onto, but I'd just bite the bullet basically and just buy all of them when you can, and then you'll only buy them once, and then you'll have them forever then. Yeah, congrats on getting your first jobs, by the way. Well done. Only 3 days after advertising on Facebook. Nice. I'm going to be starting soon. As soon as I get my driving license and get a van and the equipment, hopefully I can get some jobs soon after that. Well, good luck with that. That's a good plan. Is it Aria? I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Hi mate, been watching all your videos and love them. Question, I see you have a tank in your van. Does that mean you always keep your pressure washer in the van? Yes. Welcome to the channel, and thank you for watching my videos. That's really cool. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so my pressure washer, it's not like van mounted. I've just taken the handle off it so that it's more compact, and just kind of wedged it into the back of my van. I used to have it like tied down with a ratchet strap, but to be honest, the amount of stuff I've crammed in there, it doesn't move at all. It can't move anywhere. So yeah, I've just got a hose reel. Got like a, you'll see it in my videos, I've got like a, in total 50 meters of hose on a reel. So I start my pressure washer in the van, and then I just pull out the hose. Pressure washing AM ASMR. Hello. How's it going? What do you do in that scenario where you leave a job and you're not satisfied? So luckily on this one, the customer was super happy, and they are very faint, and it looked horrible before. And even before I got there were lines in the patio where someone had done it before me, with like an electric karcher presumably. And the difference is, it's beautiful really, in it compared to what it was. And I made sure she was happy. I took her outside and I said, what do you reckon? She went, oh, it's absolutely beautiful, you transformed it. And she's left me a lovely review on my Facebook page as well. And I went a little bit above and beyond on this one, because she asked me if I could do anything with this table. So I pressure washed this table, and then there was a little bit down the side that she wanted doing as well, and so I just did it. She said, oh, I know it's going to be more money, but I said, oh, don't worry about it, it's fine, it's only a little bit. So she was pleased that I just sorted everything for her, I think. It came up better than I expected, because there was loads of black spots left over after I'd actually pressure washed it, and then I did the chemical treatment and it came right off. Also did these gutters today with Synergy Pro again from Pure Seal. My second time using it on the fascias and soffits and stuff, and it's brilliant, really good stuff. I'm very happy with it. You can use it at such low dilution as well, it'll last forever. I love this channel, amazing videos, and I love the help from an expert. I wouldn't, thank you, I appreciate the compliment. I don't know if you could class me as an expert just yet. I've only been doing it full time for a year, but I'm trying my very best. I'm still learning every day myself, and so that's a good thing, I suppose. As soon as you're not learning anymore, it means you've stagnated and you're not hungry for it. So as long as you're learning every day, it shows that you're going in the right direction. You'd be a fool to think that you know everything. It did come up pretty good. You pronounced my name perfect. Oh, wicked. Oh, AJ, thanks for the £5. Oh, mate, thank you. That is very kind of you. You didn't have to do that. Thanks for the tip. Advice is free on this channel. Just ask away and I'll try and do my best to answer. But thank you for the tip. So has anyone got any experience with surface cleaners doing this? Oh, sorry, Mitchell. Was it this job you were talking about, or was it the other one? So this one, I cleaned it. I returned to sand and seal this block paving, and noticed this. And I said to her, I can't leave it like this. That's not my best. And she went, yeah, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to see what you thought when you got here. So I brought all my sealing stuff and my sand and all that sort of stuff. Took my hose out of the car, took my surface out of the van, took my surface cleaner out of the van, and then realised I was going to have to re-wash it. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to have to go home, empty my van, fill it back up with my pressure washing stuff, and return, because that's what I did. And then I washed it again, and it still looked rubbish. So in this scenario, I have offered to do a tinted sealer on the tarmac for free, because she wanted it doing anyway, and when I quoted it, she couldn't afford it. And so I said, I'll just do it, because I can't leave it like this. And it'll look good, so I don't mind doing it, and the weather's going to be great over the next few days, so it's time and it's money. I mean, she's an old friend, so she's understanding, and she's been very good about it. I was devastated when I saw it though, and she has offered to cover the cost of the materials as well, which I'm not sure if I'm going to take her up on it or not. I'll think about it. Do you ever get anxious leaving your pressure washer in the van open when you are working in the back garden? Yes. Depending on the area. Sometimes you go to a nice area, or they've got a big house, big massive single drive, can't even see the road from where you're washing, you know. But yeah, certainly in some areas, like this one for example, every time I went through to the back garden to turn the tap on and off, my grandma lives in this area, and it's not the best. It's not the nicest, and there's a lot of foot traffic. There's a lot of people walking back and forward. And my hoses were going across the pavement and all that sort of stuff, so I had to put some signs out. I always worried that someone's going to trip over on purpose and try and get a claim in. But yeah, it does make me nervous, knowing that someone could just walk past and maybe grab my headphones out the car, out the front of the van, or they could grab my leaf blower, or my gutter vacuum or something. I don't know. There's not. I mean, it'll be difficult to get away with something that big, really. But yeah, when you're washing out the back for like an hour or two, maybe, I do have to keep poking my head out and checking that everything's still in the van. Because what else are you supposed to do, really? You can't close the van because the exhaust fumes will smoke it out and it'll get too hot. And I can't lock my van and keep the back door open, so that's even worse. No mate, ain't even got one yet, but that's the next on my list of equipment to get for bigger jobs. Many of us like the way you narrate over your videos. You have a calm and collected voice. Oh, that's really kind. I was wondering whether, because some people comment on them and they say, I'd like to just hear the sound of the pressure washer. And it's like, no you don't. The sound of the pressure washer, trust me, every time I'm editing those videos, I have to turn the volume down to like -10 every time the camera is anywhere near the pressure washer, because it's just excruciatingly loud. Would some tarmac restorer do the trick? Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be using. It's a tinted tarmac sealer, like a tarmac restorer. So the one I like, there's a couple of different ones you can get. The one I like is from Screwfix. It's just a Thompson's one. And this one's very thin. It says only one application, but you'll want to do 2 coats. One direction with a roller, and then 90 degrees, and go the other direction. You could use a sprayer, but if you get this where you don't want it, it ain't coming off. I've got boots that I absolutely covered when I was using a roller, going back and forward. It kind of splashes, and if you go too close to like a garage door too quickly, it sort of splash up the garage door, and you can wipe it off, it's fine. But if you get it on like bricks, surrounding bricks, or so this one that I've got to do, if I were to get it on this block paving here, it wouldn't come off unless I stripped it with some sort of, you know. But this is like nice and thin, and it goes further than you'd expect, to be fair. I could probably get considering this is quite a new drive, it's newish tarmac, I might even get 2 coats out of that one tin, you know, on that. Maybe not, maybe 1.5. But there's plenty on the market. You can get the Thompson's driveway seal. You can get the Pure Seal tarmac restorer. Or you can get a thicker, gloopier one from Smart Seal. which I've used a few times. This one's decent. This one's pretty good if you've got like an older, more a drive with like, it's more porous, more just in worse condition. There's less aggregate, less even aggregate. It's like it's not smooth. This kind of sinks into the. I can't even explain it. You know what I'm saying? It sinks into the gaps where the aggregates come loose and it's gone missing. Trouble with cleaning tarmac, especially if it's an old drive, it'll start to sort of come away, and you end up with loads of stones to brush up. So on block paving you'll end up with sand and moss and stuff in a big pile. When you're cleaning tarmac, you'll end up with moss, dirt, and like aggregate. So wherever you're shoveling that to, it's going to end up being quite heavy. So that's one thing to consider. Cut the edges in with a brush. To be honest, with this, I'd be quite happy going around that edge with a roller, because the edge of the roller is just as precise as using a brush, in my opinion. If you've got like drain pipes that you've got to get around, and just different obstacles and stuff, or it's quite tight up against a wall, then you'll probably want to use a brush. If you try and put a roller too close to a wall, you'll touch the wall with the top of the roller, and you'll end up getting black lines on the wall, which I've done before. These are all mistakes I've made, so just trying to put it all out there so you guys can hopefully not make those mistakes in the future. Yeah, Aria, I'm glad that you like the narration. Thank you, mate. I put a lot of time into. I've got a new microphone. Well, I've got this one. I've put a sock over it. I've got my desk mic, and I've also got a new microphone for just editing shorts and stuff. It's like a Bluetooth one that I stick the base of it into my phone, and then I've got like a lapel thing that I put. Where is it? I think it's downstairs. But that means when I'm editing a video on my phone, I can talk into it as well, and it's like fairly good quality compared to the microphone on my phone. Thanks for the answer, no problem. Thanks for the questions, keep them coming. A up shag. What does that mean? I've never been addressed like that before. I'm Batman, welcome to the stream. You're right. Oh, hang on, let me do Jordan first. Might be a stupid question, but what if you can't use the customer's water and your tank runs out on the job? So, if the customer can't supply water, or if their neighbour can't supply it, then I can't do the job. Basically, I've got a 250 litre tank, and any more than like a thin footpath, and I'll need to top up the water. So you can use stand pipes, which are like in the road or in the path out front in the UK, where you can pull up a cover, and you need a standpipe license where you kind of connect your tank up to this. I don't know how it works. It's big commercial cleaners use all those standpipes and stuff, but it's not something you're going to want to probably get involved with when you're just starting out. But if the customer hasn't got a water supply, knock all the neighbours' doors and just say, look, I'd like to use your water for a couple of hours. The flow rate of my machine is about 15 litres per minute, and that works out at about 90p an hour in water. So it's full pressure, full blast. It'll only cost that neighbour about 90p an hour if you don't stop. And you can just give them a fiver or something and just say, oh look, most of them are absolutely fine. I had really bad water pressure at a lady's property a couple of months back, and I had to knock the neighbour's door and use two hoses basically, one from her and one from my customer. I'm thinking about adding onto my tank add in a second inlet and a second float valve, because if I'm just using one hose, one water supply, when the tank gets full, both float valves will shut at the same time, and the tank won't overflow. And then if I put two hose pipes onto it, same thing, but it will just fill up twice as fast. And it's only like the float valve is about a tenner. Another filter is about another £7. It's worth doing, I reckon, just to have that flexibility. I've just started up a couple of weeks and I've just landed my first job using your quote advice. Nice one. The knowledge videos, I appreciate, they help me out. Like, oh, thanks for letting me know. I'm pleased that it's worked for you. Should we do a quote together? I've got a quote that I've got to do tonight. I said I'd get back to him tonight. Would you guys be interested in helping me with it? And we'll go through it together. How do you avoid the black marks left by the pressure hose while you're washing? Sometimes I have to go over it again because of this problem. You aren't the only one. It's a very common problem with cheap hoses, and it's a common problem with expensive hoses as well. Especially if your hose is a little bit old, and especially if you're using hypo as well. If you're using sodium hypochlorite and you get that on your black hose, in my experience, that's when it'll start leaving marks. And they're not bad. Like, they come up quite easily when you wash them off with a fan nozzle or with a turbo or whatever. But it's just that extra pain, it's that extra effort of having to go back over yourself and wash where you've already washed. And then it's like, how do you get the hose out of the property or out of the back garden and sort of wash backwards while you're carrying this big heavy hose behind you and stuff? It's just a nightmare. I know exactly what you mean. You can remedy it by trying not to get your hose soaking wet, trying not to get it covered in sodium hypochlorite, trying not to drag it, although that's very difficult as well, and just keeping it, buying a good quality hose and replacing it every year maybe. Mine hasn't. I've just bought a brand new hose, 40 meters, from a very reputable supplier, quite an expensive one, and that's leaving marks as well. You can get like the rubber covering that like a normal hose has, like a normal garden hose. You can get those rubber style ones in the high pressure hose as well, but they're like almost double the price of a standard high pressure hose. You're talking like £400 for 30 meters. So it's a lot of money, but I can't imagine that would leave marks. And they're bright yellow as well. The ones I was looking at were bright yellow, so it's not going to leave black marks. Thank you for answering my question. I'm looking into starting up my own business in Scotland doing it, but wondered what it's like in the winter time if it goes dead. So a lot of people don't know, I didn't really speak about it that much. I don't know why, but I actually still I was still with my previous employer over the winter. So I was doing like maybe 3 or 4 days a month with my old employer on a 0-hour contract, just to keep my foot in the door in case winter comes round and I've got no work, because the pressure washing work just literally die off. And so this winter just gone, I was essentially able to pick and choose my hours, and if I had work, if I had like gutter work, then great, but if not, I'd be able to go to my old employer and just do a couple of days a week here and there and stuff, which kept me afloat. But it wasn't something I wanted to do, because You know, when you start your own business and everything's going great in the summer, the last thing you want to do is return to your old employer. But it's all part of the journey, and it's nothing to be ashamed about. It was a great opportunity. It was a great deal for me, really. It was like an extra £300 to £500 a month that was coming in to help me pay my bills. And there were some very quiet days through the winter. But yeah, I invested in gutter cleaning equipment basically as soon as I was able. And that's the sort of time where you got to weigh up, like, is finance. I'm looking after my money because I've got my own business now, but is finance like the best option here? Because I haven't got the liquid cash to pay for all this new equipment up front, but I need something to keep me going through the winter. So I think that's what I did in the end. I think I financed some gutter cleaning equipment, or I had some savings. I can't remember what I did, but you just got to look at other options and stuff that, like, kind of still relates to your business as well. So it could be landscaping or gardening, or like people always, the lady that I did her drive today, or her rear patio today, she said, "Oh, do you do anything else?" They quite often ask, "Do you do anything else?" And I always tell them, "Oh, I do gutters as well. If you need your gutters clearing out or cleaning, your fascias and your soffits and all that sort of stuff." Because you'll find that a lot of window cleaners actually don't offer that service. They just clean windows. And then who else do you employ to do the gutters and soffits for you? You assume a window cleaner, but not all of them offer that. I went off on a tangent then, didn't I? Hello mate, do you offer or have you done repointing on crazy paving stones with mortar? Seen them in B&Q coming in ready mixed. How would you charge for that if someone get your pressure washing service? Crazy paving stones with mortar. Have you done repointing job on crazy paving stones with mortar? I've never used mortar for repointing. I've only ever used like that easy joint stuff from Pure Seal, or the sicker stuff from like Wix or B&Q. I did some impromptu repointing the other day on this job here. I wasn't actually gonna do it. What's just happened then? Okay, so this one here, big block paved area, before and afters, came up nice. This was a bit of a monster. It was a lot bigger. It went round to the left here as well, and she had a big pond as well. So that came up well. But then down the bottom here, this had never been pointed. So it was installed and not pointed at all. And so there's just weeds coming out of it everywhere. So I pressure washed it, and there was just like nothing in the cracks. And so they wanted to do something with it. And so I recommended that they buy some of that sicker stuff from Screwfix or Wix. And so they bought some, started brushing it in. When I came back to resand, I saw the old chap brushing it in, and he didn't have enough. He only bought the one tub, and these joints were really, really wide. And so luckily I had some easy joint in the van, and I just sort of offered to do it because he was an old boy, and I didn't like to see him struggling, and he weren't doing it properly. He hadn't wet it down or anything. He was just brushing it in dry. And as soon as I wetted it down, he said, "Oh, the instructions don't tell you to wet it." And I was like, "They do. I've done it many times in the past." And they were very pleased with it. It came up really nice. It only took me like 20 minutes. And the job, the resanding went a bit smoother than I expected it to as well. So I didn't mind spending an extra 20 minutes with him just sorting this out. And the jointing compound was left over from an old job that the lady cancelled, and so I didn't end up using it. And so I just had it sat around. So she sent me the 36 odd pound for for the compound, and then she tipped me like 20 quid just for doing it for her, because I didn't include it in the price and I weren't going to charge them for it, but they were very kind. They were very grateful. Went round and pushed it all in with my tool, compacted it all. I don't know what you mean by repointed on crazy paving with stones and mortar. That sounds like a horrible job, to be honest. My friend got in touch and he's got crazy paving, and he said, can you repoint this for me? And you could be there for days, I swear. It looked like an horrible job. I'm doing a full-time job and pressure washing business. I'm trying to build up. Nervous to maybe eventually leave my full-time, as it's a big step. It is a big step, and especially if you're like me, where you've got a mortgage and you've got kids. Oh, Batman, thanks for becoming... I didn't know what to call it. You're just a Smelt Circle member. Thanks for joining the channel. You're a paid member of the channel now, which I really appreciate. Thank you. These tips and these subscriptions and stuff, they really go a long way. So I do appreciate you guys being so generous. Thank you. It is a big step. I had I've got a family. I've got 2 kids. I've got a dog, a cat. I've got a mortgage. I've got car insurance. I've got phone bills to pay for, all that sort of stuff. And so I couldn't afford for this business to fail. Like, it had to work, so I had to do things the right way. So I made sure I had savings behind me. You see, you're calling me Shag again? I've never heard that before. Where are you from, Batman? Is that like a regular term around your way? What am I saying? You've put me off. Yeah, I couldn't afford for the business to fail, so I had to do it the right way. I made sure I had like 2 months worth of savings, and I left at the time of year where like the season was kicking off. And I even asked them, I said, can I reduce my hours? Can I just do a few days a week instead? And they said, no, we need someone to fill a full-time position, and if you reduce your hours, it means the position's not available for someone else to fill in, which I totally understood. They ended up putting me on a 0-hour contract anyway, because they were short-staffed. So I kind of left in the nicest way possible, where I said, look, I can still help out if you're desperate, but this summer's going to be really busy. I'd already been doing pressure washing on the side for friends and family, and odd jobs here and there. Pretty big jobs, to be fair, for like 8 or 9 months before that. So I was just doing it on the side for a long time. And then when I realised some of these jobs weren't going to be possible in an evening or on a weekend or something when I've got the kids, I had to make the decision. It's a big jump, it's scary, but the one thing I'd say is, 1, make sure you've got your savings. 2, reduce any outgoings, direct debits, finance. Try and get all that paid off. Any money that you make in pressure washing, keep it in the business. Don't go out and spend it on nice stuff. It's very tempting, especially if you've got a load of cash and stuff. It's very tempting to go and spend it, and you think, I've earned this, I've worked really hard for this. Leave it in the business. Save it in case you need to invest in new equipment, or if your van breaks or anything like that. So what was it? Keep the money in the business, reduce your outgoings, have like 2 months worth of wages. It all sounds really difficult, but it's not. If you're doing it on the side, it's not difficult. And then lastly, try and have like at least a month's worth of work booked in. Get yourself in a position where you've got like a solid, I'd say a month's worth of work would be ideal, and that's very achievable in like the busy months. So now I'm getting like 3 or 4 messages a day. I'm getting phone calls and voicemails, and I'm behind on my quotes. I literally don't have the time to get around to everyone. and that's a good position to be in, but I do feel like I'm letting people down. But this is the sort of time of year where that's gonna happen. So don't aim to like leave your job in November, because then you're gonna have a very quiet winter and you're gonna regret it. So around about April, May, that's when I did it, April last year. Yeah. Nice one, Shag. I'm sure he's from the Midlands, as calling someone Shag is a Brummie term. Is it? I'm from Stoke. I worked on the roads for 10 years. I thought you said do white lightning, and everyone called each other Shag, and I can't start calling everyone. My old boss, I used to work at a paint shop, painting cars, and he used to call everyone Ted. Someone he'd just met, he'd call him Ted. Right, Ted? And I did that for a long time. You pick up other people's ways, especially when they're like a likable person. You end up copying them without even realising it. Definitely would love a live quote. Should we do a quote together? What's the going rate per square metre to charge? It depends on the surface. Block paving. It depends where you are as well. There's a lot of factors. You price what you think you're worth. Do a few jobs on various surfaces. Consider how long it's took you, how mucky you get, how knackered you are by the end of it, and then price accordingly. Should we do one together, and then I can show you my process? What I don't want to do is, yeah, it does depend on your area. Yeah. Hey, Steve, you alright? What I don't want to do is show you guys this chap's address and phone number and all that sort of stuff. So what I'll do instead is upload the pictures again to my Google Drive. And then we can look at it together and we'll figure out a price, and I'll send him a message. And I'll send him a message and we might get a response tonight, and we'll see if we price too high, too low, just about right, or what. I've already told him I'm going to break it down for him because there's a few bits that he wants doing specifically. So right, upload them. Google Earth. Sorry guys, this is going to take me just a couple of minutes to set up because I don't want to advertise his address on stream. But this is going to be good. This is going to be good for all of us, I reckon. I've got some non-alcoholic beer. I'm trying to... Is non-alcoholic beer less calories than normal beer? Or is it just low alcohol? Right. I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is going to be a bit annoying, I think. 11. I wonder if it tastes the same. Should we have a look? Okay, that'll do. Right, where are we? Oh, it's the worst Google Earth image ever. So I can't use this basically, so I can't measure from this. I mean, if we wanted to, we could do it very roughly, but I'm not gonna. It's essentially that. You guys can't see. About 100 square meters, but it's a terrible Google Earth image, so we can't use it anyway. So whatever, let's get rid of that. And I'll show you the pictures instead. I took some photos when I was there today. Here we go. Can I use a turbo nozzle on porcelain? I'd recommend using a fan jet on porcelain, the green one. I haven't got a bottle opener. I've got these Brooklyn Special Effects low alcohol. I like the Brooklyn lager that they do. Thoroughly recommend it. Cleaning surf, AJ pressure on cleaner surf. No, flat surfaces cleaner, lower pressure. No, flat surface cleaner, low pressure. Yeah, if you've got a surface cleaner, use one of them. If not, use the fan jet. Evening, mate. PJW, what's going on? I'll be back in a sec. I'm just getting a can opener, bottle opener. Right then, so this is a block paving job. I told the customer this when I arrived. I was like, this drive is the ideal setup. It's the perfect drive to clean. These blocks always come up well. And then down the road here, it slopes perfectly. And then there's a drain right at the bottom of the drive. And I said, that makes things a lot easier for me. And all this is taken account in the quote as well. And I'll let the customer know equally if there's poor drainage and if there's going to be a problem. If I can see in advance, you've got this rear patio and there's no drain, or there's like overhanging grassy areas where I'm going to wash it and then the mud's going to run back onto the patio and it's going to be standing water everywhere or whatever, or they've got a blocked drain. All this gets taken into consideration with a quote. I'll tell them I'm going to price slightly higher because I'm anticipating issues. But on this one, this is the dream, and there's a tap right there as well on the front of the property. So it's this big block paved drive, path all the way down the side of the house. I didn't ask him about moving the furniture actually. I'll see if he's able to do that. Because again, it sounds like a little thing, but when you're moving pots and furniture and storage stuff, it adds a lot of time onto your day. If you haven't got a trolley or a truck or something, you'll kill your back moving these old ladies' massive pots. You don't know how they got there in the first place. I think every time they go out their house, they come back with a new pot, some of them. And then we've got this Big area out the back. I should have measured it really. If I'd have known the Google Earth image was going to be that bad, I'd have got my tape measure out of the van and had a proper look. And then we've got another small path down the side. So it wraps around the whole property. With these blocks, they tend to take a little bit more sand than regular block paving. They don't sort of, I don't know whether the joints are wider or the blocks are deeper, or they're not chamfered and so they don't, they fit sort of more sand in because the joints are the same width all the way down. I'm not too sure. Tap out the back too, nice. Yeah, they've actually got 2 taps there. That's 2 separate taps. I don't know why. Right. So this area out the back is roughly, I'd say, about 2 car parking spaces. If I was to drive a car in from the left here, I could probably fit 2 cars, front and back. And also another small thing he wanted sorted on this one, he's noticed in some of my videos that I've re-leveled some blocks. So he's asked me if I can put that onto the quote as well, and I said, look, I don't offer this as a service. I'm not a landscaper, but I can do my best with it. So I've set his expectations. He knows it's probably not going to be perfect, but I could probably get it better than what it is now. So there's a few dips in the drive, and all I'm going to do there, once I've washed the drive and everything's clean, I'll pull the offending blocks out, try and remember where they all went. I'll take a photo, and then I'll put some sharp sand in, pat it down, try and get it all level, and then just literally place the blocks back on top, wash them down with a mallet, and then brush the kiln dried sand in back over the top. And it's quite a simple process, and if you can give it a go, it's fun. Give it a go on, your parents' drive or your friends. Just as don't charge them for it. Just say, I'd like to have a go at this. Do you mind? The clean hero is welcome. You're right. Just starting up with the service. Very interesting. Nice. Welcome, Bobby. Right, should we start typing something up for this potential customer? I think his name was John. Hi, John. It was great to meet you today. I'm just going to copy and paste this and send it as a message. So let's do this together. Please see your quote below. So what I'm going to do is I always want to let them know the surface that I'm quoting for as well. If you've got multiple surfaces and you've discussed various things on the day, rather than sticking it all in one quote and saying pressure washing this much, you might be thinking, okay, I'm only going to pressure wash these areas because that's what we discussed, but then on the day they're under the impression that actually you're going to pressure wash everything for that price, and it can get confusing sometimes. So I'm just going to let him know, pressure wash block paving, and then we'll come up with a price for that. Resand block paving, rebed. Is that how you spell rebed? This is a difficult one to do now without measurements. I was hoping to just do like a nice clean example for you, but now that I've not got the measurements, I reckon about 100 square meters was about right. That was quite accurate. Like it was a little bit of guesswork, but it looks about 100 square meters based on some of the work I've done before. It's quite a wide path down that one side as well. Rebed, blocks. There's a ghost in the house. So another thing I don't do is take waste away with me. So here I might say, please be advised. I'm not going to type it all out, but I could just say, please be advised, there will be lots of sand and sludge left over from the wash. Please think of where you'd like me to dispose this, whether it's in the garden waste bin, in some plant borders. I can bag it up for you and you can dispose of it yourself. But I don't take waste away with me anymore. I used to, and it just ended up piling up in my back garden. So I've already discussed that with him, and he's got like a slightly wooded area down the side of the house that I'm gonna spread all the muck out. It all belongs to him, and he's happy for me to just chuck it in there, so that's fine. Try and discuss that with them on the day. So there's a few things you want to do when you go around to quote in person. First, take pictures, ideally take measurements as well. I was a bit silly today not taking measurements, but check the water pressure. You always want to look at where your water's coming from, how accessible it is, and turn on the tap. The next thing you want to do is look at your drainage options. So make sure if you've got a big area to clean and you can't see a drain, you need to figure it out. Work out where you're going to be brushing the water, which direction it's going to flow, because that is going to add, it could potentially add hours onto an otherwise fairly easy job. If you've got poor drainage, that's one of the worst scenarios you can have when you're pressure washing, in my experience. Did 2 gardens today after my regular job. I've seen it on some video on YouTube, but today was my first real bad drainage garden. A hustle, but got it done. Nice to catch the live streams again. Yeah, welcome, man. Thanks for coming back in. Yeah, so you know firsthand, it's poor drainage is the worst. Probably, I'd say the worst is poor drainage. The next worst is poor water pressure from the tap. That will slow you down immensely. So, I've checked all those things. The next thing I want to do is say something like, let me know what you think. This is sort of prompting them to get back to me. If they don't like the price, rather than ignoring me, this is like a little prompt to say, let me know what you think of that. You know, we can discuss it, whatever. I'm available to complete the work on. So I'm always given a date. This will generally secure the quote, or at least get you in conversations about securing the quote, because when you suggest a date, rather than now focusing on this big price, they're more focused on whether they can do that date. So that they might say, oh, I can't do the 28th, but we could do the 29th. And at that point you start discussing the date to book the work in rather than discussing the price. That's something I sort of found through experience. When I wasn't giving people dates during the quoting phase, it's more exchanges, it's more messages one after the other, and each message is getting you further away from securing the quote. if the customer has to come back and ask you, when can you do it, or what happens with the sand, like when will you come back to resand, so that's another thing I'll put. So the more times you have to have an exchange with the customer, the more opportunity you've got of losing that quote. Sanding will be done on a dry day following the wash. I look forward to hearing back from you. So you want to try and sort of answer as many questions as possible before they need to ask them. Does anyone think I've missed anything? So let's assume it's around about 100 square meters. So my going rate at the minute, depending on the area, will be obviously 100 square meters times £4 is 400 quid. Now I'm in two minds whether to include the cost of sand in this one, or whether to add it on top. And generally, the bigger the area, the less likely I am to add the cost of sand on top. So in this situation, you've always got to consider that when you're resanding one of these jobs, you're going to return on a dry day, and it's going to take a job that size to resand is probably going to take over an hour, maybe around about an hour, and it's a journey there. You got to fill up your van with sand. It's a journey there. Spend an hour sweeping sand between the joints, which isn't an easy job really. It's quite taxing on your body, especially in the heat. And so you can't book in any other work for that time slot, so you need to be making money that day. And yeah, you might have priced it in the work before that, but I see this as like a separate, almost like a half a day's job. So that's what I'm considering when I'm thinking about it. It's not half a day, it's like a morning's work, but in this one I reckon I've just found sand at Travis Perkins way cheaper than anywhere else. Someone posted it on the Facebook page. Where's the price? Here we go. £3.92 compared to about £7 something at Wickes, and similar at B&Q as well. Look at that, £7.30 at B&Q, at Wickes, for the exact same bag, which is insane. So £3.92, bloody camera. This is obviously a bit long-winded because I'm trying to explain everything at the same time, but once you've done a few of these and you get into like a method or routine or whatever, you'll get quicker with it. So let's knock off the cost of the sand. 100 square meters with that particular block. I reckon maybe 4 for the path and the back, and then another 4 or 5 for the drive. So to be on the safe side, let's say 10 bags of sand at about £4 a bag, 40 quid's worth of sand, and then what, like an hour's work to do it, so let's say 60 quid in total. So I'm going to pay myself 20 quid to brush that sand in. 60 quid, so instead of calling it 400, why don't we take off the cost of the sand and include in that price, in that £4 per square metre, let's include the cost of the sand. So let's call this 340. Resand block paving 60. And then if he wants me to rebed those few blocks, I haven't got the pictures here, but there's a couple of blocks around. Is it that area there that has sort of sunk down? And then there's another few more down the bottom here. Can you see that little dip there? And then down the side of the house as well, in the path. There's like a slight dip around here, I think. So that's probably going to take me an hour, plus the cost of some sharp sand. £5. Let's say 35 quid to rebed the blocks. So what we got, 340, 400, 435. What if you have to move the furniture? That's a good question. So I might say on here, if you're able, please clear any furniture, Ashbath furniture. Please clear any furniture off the patio. Do you still call a rear block paved area a rear patio? Is that still a patio, or is it only a patio when you've got slabs? American Muscle UK, an hour to sand that many bags. What's the secret? I'm new to this, having done a handful of driveways so far. So I use, there's no secret really. It's difficult work. I use like a dozer broom. I use one of these. It's like a soft, stiff bristles. So stiff bristles on the outside and soft ones on the inside. It's quite a wide one as well. And I don't stop. Like when I'm working, I quite often don't stop for lunch either. And if I'm resanding an area like that, I will literally be working flat out from when I start to when I finish. And some people have, like, you know, the odd cigarette break, or they'll be checking their phone, all that sort of stuff. I don't check my phone once when I'm, you know, resanding or whatever, because I'll just be focused on blasting it out and getting it done quickly. And I've worked with people in the past that, because it's my business, they're clearly not on the same pace as me because they don't care as much, because it's not their job. They're just sort of working with me, and so my pace is naturally a lot quicker than theirs, as you'd expect. But I'm wondering whether I'd be like, if I employed someone, which I might end up doing this year because things are getting really difficult to do on my own. But if I employed someone, I think I'd be the worst manager, because I'd expect the same level of work as I'm putting in myself, like the same level of graft. Because I was doing, so earlier today I was doing some vacuuming out some gutters, cleaning the fascias, the soffits on quite a big, complex sort of house. There was lots of different aspects to it, and it was very dirty as well. And I was there for like 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours, and I didn't stop once. I didn't sit down for a break. The chap made me a glass of orange juice, and I quickly swigged that, and then got straight back to work. You know, so I don't stop. So it's I don't know. People work in different paces and stuff, but yeah, these blocks are nice to sand as well because they're so flat. They're not chamfered. You're not trying to constantly dig the sand out from between the joints. You know, when you do a light brush over normal block paving, you don't want it sat in the chamfers, and so you end up brushing quite aggressively to just leave the sand in the lines, in the gaps, and try and get all the sand out of the chamfered bits. And so that's quite difficult to do. These blocks, I don't know if American Muscle, I don't know if you've ever sanded some of these blocks before, but they're much easier. You can almost do just one clean sweep over these, and you'll end up with a perfectly level, lovely finish. Shaban, welcome. Hi mate, just set up after watching your vids. All the kit, van, jobs rolling through, thanks. No way, that's awesome. That's really cool to hear. On the Pure Seal course, nice. I've done the Pure Seal course. You'll that'll blow your mind. You'll learn loads on that course. That's really cool that have you set up since watching my videos, or have you just been interested in pressure washing for a while? Do you charge for hypo usage? I used to add chemicals onto the price. It depends if it's a big area. The only black spots on this one, there's not any round the back that I weren't confident I could get up. Maybe a few in that area there. The only black spots were in front of the garage. Over here behind that plant pot there was some black spots, and I actually said to the chap, you can see some there, look. Once I've washed this, if these black spots are remaining, would you be happy with me doing a chemical treatment? And we discussed, chemicals going onto the grass and all that sort of stuff, and I said I'll pre-wet the grass, make sure everything's nice and wet. I do a very soapy mixture, so it's not just sort of running around everywhere, it's sticking to the surface that I want it to stick to. And I rinse everything down and dilute it with loads of water, and so it won't go on the grass, it'll be fine. But yeah, so I can't imagine I'm going to use much hypo, just doing those few select areas. Some people, when they clean block paving, they hypo the whole area, and they must go through masses of the stuff, and I don't think it's necessary. I'll only hypo the whole area if I'm planning on sealing it afterwards, because then you're making sure it's... Would it be beneficial to put on the quote, pressure washing and chemical usage 360? So even if you don't charge it, it makes the customer think 360 is going a long way. It's a very good point. Let's do that. Pressure wash, block paving. How shall I word it? I like to keep these sort of short and sweet. Plus chemical treatment if necessary. How do you spell that word? Should we do it like that? Is the Pure Seal course in Crewe? I don't know where they're hosting it now. They've changed the venue since I did it. Yes, it's watching them, your vids. Oh nice, I wasn't interested at all till I stumbled on your YouTube. That's insane. That's really cool to know. Oh, that's wicked. Well, I hope it goes well for you. What do we think of this quote? Is anyone... Plus free chemical treatment if necessary. Well, we're including the cost of the chemicals in the price, so it's not free. It is sort of accounted for in the price. Invest, welcome to the stream by the way. How do you decide how much to quote the customer? What do you take into consideration? So we've just, I think you might have joined slightly late, but we've just been through drainage, water pressure, how easy these blocks are to sand, generally how well they clean up, and then square meter. So it is a decent, it's a decent sized area, to be honest. Looking at it again now, and he did say this area can tend to flood, but if we brush it in this direction it will drain down the side of the house. So bearing in mind there's going to be some flooding issues, let's just bump that up ever so slightly. Let's go 360 like you said for the chemical wash. So 420, is that 455? I'm happy with that. Is there anything anyone thinks we should add at this point? Or are we good with that? Little path down the side. Shouldn't take too long to do that bit. Nice big area around the back. Washing in this direction so that the water goes around the side there. Another side path, brushing the water in this direction, and then down the drive, and then there's a drain just down here, which is perfect. If you're able, please clear the furniture. Please clear any furniture before I arrive. I'm happy to give, he's a fairly young chap, you a hand with the heavy stuff. You did an identical patio last week. Blue Box, welcome to the stream. Nightmare drainage, oh dear. What about all the windows to be washed down, floor gutters cleaned out? So there's no soak away gutters on this property. It's just a drain on the road down there. Windows I don't clean. The way I do it is I pre-wet the windows with my ball valve and the pressure washer, I just open it slightly so it's going into like a spray. I wet the windows down, then I put the turbo nozzle on my lance. While I'm cleaning, you might get a bit of dirt onto the windows, but they're already wet, so the dirt's not going to stick. And then as soon as I'm finished cleaning that area, I'll get the ball valve out again and just wash the windows off again. So none of that dirt has had a chance to bake itself onto the surface of the windows, and so generally it'll just come straight off. So I'm not wiping them, I'm not squeegeeing them or anything like that, I'm just rinsing them. Have you tried out the new Synergy Clean Pro? Does it leave any stains, or does the cleaning surface need to be wiped with a cloth to avoid stains? I literally used Synergy Clean today. I'll show you some pictures in a minute. I'm just going to get this quote done so I can send it off to this chap. Great to meet you today. Please see your quote. Let me know what you think. I'm able to complete the work on. So bear with me. I don't really want to show you guys my calendar, so I'm just going to check when I'm able to do it. Let's do because I've also got to consider when I'm going to have time to resand it as well. So I've got a fair bit of work booked in next month. Let's do Friday the 9th, and then we can resand it on Sunday the 11th. Oops. If you're able, I'm able to complete the work on Friday 9th of May, if that's convenient. Sanding will be done. Sanding will be done on a dry day following the wash. If you're able, please clear any furniture before I arrive. Happy to give you a hand with the heavy stuff. Look forward to hearing back from you, Jake. Should we send it? Anything to add before I send this? What do we think? Is it going to be accepted? Oh, you're in Lichfield, Rick. Nice. No problem. Thanks for I'm glad you've found it useful, mate. Thank you. Did I say May? I meant June. Thank you, Mitchell. You caught that. Right then. Messenger. So this chap contacted me on Facebook Messenger, and the reason he contacted me is because he's seen my videos, my reels, and he said, I saw your first reel, I followed your page, and I was going to get in touch with you, but I forgot. And then every so often you'll post a new video every week or so, and it reminds me to try and get in touch with you again. And so he finally texted me, and he said your Facebook videos are great marketing. I reckon that's where marketing is now. I reckon businesses like this, you need to be doing reels, short videos, before and after pictures, all based around social media. And then anyone that you're not getting through social media, like the older people, they'll generally hear from you through word of mouth from like family and friends and stuff, I think, anyway. Hi John, great to meet you. Please see your quote. Let me know what you think. I'm able to complete the work. Right, I think we're good. I'm going to send that. I think that is very reasonable for an area that size. That's almost kind of cheap, but it's a day's work plus resanding. a decent amount of fuel from the pressure washer. We'll see. Hopefully he gets back to us tonight and we can find out whether we were about right live on stream. That'll be interesting, wouldn't it? Right, what were we talking about? Synergy. So stains, I don't know how much experience you've got with washing gutters, but in my experience, not all stains are removable. So this is one I did today. With the Synergy Clean Pro. And I've actually just done a video on Synergy as well. Let me show you. You might find that interesting. It's only a 60-second reel. God, I'm finding it very tough to navigate these pages. So I'm sorry. Flipping around, flapping around everywhere. Here we go. Different today. Hopefully you can hear this. The Synergy Clean from Pure Seal. So I mixed about 20 litres of water. That's loud, isn't it? Is that too loud for you? Let me knock it down a bit. Water with 2 litres of solution. It looks like orange juice and it smells beautiful, but anyway, I applied it with the Gardener backpack, just sprayed it on, one light mist, and you can see all the dirt falling off anyway. And then I went in with just water after that and gave it a brush. And you only need to give it like a light mist to get all the soapiness off. Some of these TFRs, you have to sort of rinse them for ages to be able to get all the soap off, but this seems to just fall off. It's lovely. And it cleans really, really well. It's nice to know that it's safe on all surfaces. And once you've rinsed everything down and it's dried off, it leaves everything looking really shiny. I've also heard that it's quite an effective degreaser, so I'm going to give it a go on some oil stains next week as well, but definitely going to be my new go-to for gutters and fascias and all that sort of stuff. Going to be using something a bit different today. Hope that answers your question. Oh, they just had an artificial lawn laid. So did you get all the dirt all over the new artificial grass? Oh dear. Who asked about the Synergy? Oh, Michael. Mitchell? Michael? Have you tried out new Synergy Clear Pro? Does it leave stains? So in my experience, you can't get rid of all stains on gutters. Some of it's like oxidized, like there's like white crust. Some of it is just baked into the old plastic. And if you ever end up doing, I did some wooden soffit boards today. So there's plastic gutters, plastic fascias, and then underneath it was white painted wooden boards, which were filthy, and they never come up nice. They need repainting, but still gave them a good clean anyway. Thanks for the reply. I'm leaving a manager's role in accident repair centre to start up. Thanks for the advice. You've been inspiring me. No worries. I think I've already replied to that, but good luck leaving your manager's role. I used to be a manager at Aldi, and then I went to Maplin, became a store manager at Maplin. Then they shut down. Then I went to fit those, there's panic alarms for like vulnerable people. I was an installation officer interviewing the potential customer and trying to make sure we fit the right products for them. Things like epilepsy sensors and intruder alarms and key safes and all that sort of stuff. So you don't need any previous experience in any other industry to be able to jump into pressure washing. Anyone can Anyone can push a pressure washer around. Do you have any marketing budget? Oh, sorry. What about if you have any questions, please let me know. I should have put that on the end. Invest. Sorry. Your message has only just come through. Yeah, that would have been, that's useful. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions, that sort of thing. That's always useful. Do you have any marketing budget? At the very start, I set aside about 500 quid for leaflets, business cards, Google ads, Facebook ads, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was for me when I was starting out, because I didn't really have any money. I'd spent all my money on getting myself going with equipment and stuff. And the last thing you want to do really is spend 500 quid on advertising that you're not sure is going to work. That was terrifying to me. I didn't want to lose that money. And I'd never paid for any sort of advertising before, so I didn't know how effective it was. And since then, my advertising has become Facebook, before and after photos, Reels, Instagram, TikTok. That's where I focused all my energy into. I didn't even realize that was advertising before. I was doing all these videos because I thought it was cool. I thought the before and afters were really satisfying to watch. But that is my form of advertising. A lot of people really rate Google ads, and they'll spend £500 a month on Google ads to make sure they're the first thing that pops up when people type in pressure washing. But I've not had to do it because my videos they're doing so well, and all my friends are sharing it and commented on them and liking them. My family is sharing them. It's all people in my local area that are seeing them. My reviews are all good. Like people are always posting reviews on my page as well. I got a nice one today. I've not had to spend any money on advertising. I got my van sign written, and then my phone number changed. They cut off our landline when they put in the new broadband, and so I've still got this old phone number on the side of my van that doesn't go anywhere. So I need to sort that. It's all over my business cards as well. Luckily on my business cards I put my mobile on the back as well. But it's most of my work is coming through word of mouth. People who I did last year, they're recommending their friends and family, and then just majority of my work comes through Facebook, to be honest. Would you use that on a plastic roof? You could do. It's safe. It says that it's safe for all surfaces, which is an important thing to distinguish, because there's products you can use out there that say safe for most surfaces, but you'll end up using it on one that it's not safe for, and you'll absolutely ruin it. So you have got to double check. This is like a heavy duty degreaser first, and it just happens to be very effective on gutters and stuff. It's like an industrial degreaser. You could use also the no nonsense stuff from Screwfix. Probably a very similar product, but I'd imagine this is a bit stronger. No worries, Michael. Can you correct me? Is it Michael or Mitchell? I'm terrible at spelling, and especially names and stuff. Ordered the Synergy Pro today. Heard good things about it. Yeah, I think you'll be pleased with it, mate. Artix, welcome to the stream. I'm currently in the planning stages of starting up. Not best time in season wise, I know. 2 seconds. I think my camera overheats because it's not timing out. I think it's just getting too hot. Trying to secure some funding, etc. To say your channel has been invaluable would be an understatement. Oh, mate. Oh, thanks for all the love tonight. This is it's nice to know that my videos are inspiring people to start their businesses, because that was always the aim with the channel, to try and get people out of jobs that they hate, or they're mundane, or they feel like they're wasting their life like I did, and into something that makes you passionate and motivates you and earns you more money and gets you interacting with new people, and yeah, just living a better life generally, working your own hours, managing your own time, deciding when you wake up and go to bed, all that sort of stuff. Thank you for all the videos and advice you give out. Your work ethic is outstanding. Oh, mate, thank you. I wouldn't, would I agree with you? I do. I think I work hard. I think I do. I've struggled to switch off. That's my main problem. It's the last thing I think about when I go to bed and the first thing I think about when I wake up, which probably isn't healthy, but it's probably necessary to I don't know. I'm trying my best. The only paid advertising I do is the local parish church magazine. Goes out to 3,000 local residents, gets me loads of work. I can imagine that is a brilliant idea, actually. Yeah, if you can reach that many people. And do you pay the church for that? Is that what it is, a parish? Parish church, yeah. Do you pay the church to be able to advertise in there? So your money is going to a good place. It's not just going to like an advertising company or whatever. And you're reaching probably a lot of old people as well that have got big properties and they're not able to clean it all themselves, you know. That's a great idea, that is. Invest. Your channel is amazing, mate. Honestly, love your straightforward advice, not upselling courses like a lot of YouTube channels, etc. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. I've also discovered driving to local car dealers has helped. Landed frequent jobs from Mercedes and Land Rover from doing so. Worth a shot. Really? Just sort of pulling up and pressure washing like the forecourts for the cars and stuff. Maybe a stupid question. You keep opening with this may be a stupid question, Clean Heroes. You did that last week. None of these are stupid questions, trust me. Do you use a specific specific nozzle to rinse? I did it with my turbo nozzle, but not working that well. Yes, I do. I use the green. Is it a 45 degree? Or is it a 25 degree? I can't think. I'm blanking. $25 degree. Oh, my screen's just gone off. God, everything keeps turning off. Come on. Stupid thing. I need to get a more streamlined setup for this live streaming business, don't I? How's that? Are we back? We're back. Yeah, this is the one I used to rinse down. I don't use any of the others. I used to use the white nozzle to rinse down. That's the 40 degree, isn't it? Some people use the 15 degree for oh look, hard surfaces such as brick and concrete. I think that would be too thin. I'd want to cover a slightly wider area than that. And I use that in combination with the ball valve. Oh, I'm only pulling your leg, Clean Heroes. I don't know if you've seen my video where I discuss the ball valve for rinsing down. I'll just sort of skip ahead to it.
Google Pixel 7.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with your questions. The chat's moving quite quickly. Not used to having this many people asking me questions all at the same time. Who's this guy?
So the first item is this high pressure quick release ball valve from Amazon. That just goes onto the end of your high pressure hose, and it allows you to switch between your lance and your surface cleaner. Maybe you've got two different lances, one with a wash down nozzle and one with a turbo nozzle, which is what I use. It allows you to switch between them without having to turn off the pressure washer, which is the original reason that I got it. It means you don't have to keep going back and forward to the van, switching it off, just so you can change over to a different nozzle. The other great thing about it is it allows you to turn on the machine with the ball valve open, and it essentially acts as an easy start valve. For those of you that already do pressure washing may know, if you have your lance plugged into the end of your high pressure hose and you try and start the machine, you might find that after a few pulls the machine doesn't start and it starts to get tight. It starts to feel like there's a lot of pressure building up inside the hose and inside the pump, which is what happens. So if you open that ball valve, you can start the machine, water will start flowing at a fairly low pressure out of the end of the ball valve, and then once the machine's warmed up, you can turn the ball valve off, plug your lance in,
This is the bit I was going to show you,
and start washing. The other handy thing about it is if you turn the ball valve to about halfway, it acts as like a wash down nozzle. When you've got to rinse off stones or the side of bins or windows, anything like that, you can use this essentially wash down nozzle. It's very low pressure, but it gives you a nice spray pattern, and it means it's not chucking up loads of leaves and dirt everywhere. So it's a very controlled clean down method. So I definitely recommend getting one of these for someone who doesn't already have one. That one's about £42 on Amazon. I'll put the links down to everything in the description so you can find it for yourself.
I hope you found that useful, mate. Yeah, it is Michael. Also got one more question. Do you deal with efflorescence? If yes, could you recommend any specific chemicals? I've had very bad luck with efflorescence. Every time I've tried to do acid washes, it's not gone as planned. I actually did an acid wash on a wall recently, and it was crap, basically. Where did I put the picture? I've got a picture of the result. I think it was on my Facebook. Sorry guys, bear with me a sec. So it's just brick acid that generally you should be able to use, and you can just put it on with like a brush. Here we go. So I actually did this with my Chapin sprayer. So the difference that you can see here is hypo, sodium hypochlorite. But before I did the hypo, I wanted to get rid of all this white. There's loads of white patches surrounding this whole rear patio. And I did the acid wash on it. Pretty much neat. I think I added a little bit of water and a bit of surfactant, and it did literally nothing. And so I was so disappointed that I put all the effort into bringing my chapping sprayer, cleaning it out in the morning, getting all the sealer out of it from the week before, going to Travis Perkins specifically to buy some brick acid, arriving with multiple different chemicals, doing the mix on site, spraying it onto the wall, wetting the surface, wetting the bricks down at the bottom because I didn't want, apparently that brick acid can occasionally discolour these bricks, someone told me in one of the group chats, and it didn't clear any of the white, and so I was so disappointed. But the customer was still happy because of what the hypo was doing. This wasn't no pressure whatsoever, this was just hypo on that wall. So that was really frustrating after I'd gone through that much effort to, because it was supposed to be like a larger, the wall surrounding this garden was massive, and so I was gonna acid wash the whole thing. I just had to explain to the customer. I said, I know I've quoted you for it, but it's not doing what I expected it to do, so I'm really sorry. But he was happy with the chemical treatment that I was putting on the wall anyway, so he was fine. £50 a month. Blue Box, what are you referring to? Oh, £50 a month for the church, for the advertising. That's cool. That's worth it if it's bringing you that, considerable amount of work in. Yeah, the forecourts. Also, Mercedes are responsible for customers' driveways where the car sits to clean it after they carry out a mobile service. That's where some of my work comes. Do you know what I'm doing? I'm doing a job for Toyota on Sunday where they've done a service on a customer's car. He's paid like 340 quid for a service, and they've left oil residue on the underside of his car, and so when he's got home it's dripped onto his drive, and they've had someone come out, treat the oil from the garage, the same guy that did the service. He's treated the oil and cleaned a square of the drive where the oil dripped. The oil's still there, and now he's got one clean patch on a large block paved drive, and so he's complained to the manager. Basically, they've been very good about it, and he's asked him to get 3 quotes, send them all in, and he lives opposite my mum, so he wanted me to do it specifically. And the garage, I emailed the garage, or he forwarded my quote, and the same day they sent me the full price to do the oil treatment, clean and resand the whole block paved drive. It's like a 4-car drive. They just sent me the money, no questions asked. And then I've organised a date with a customer to go and clean it. I was very surprised at how quickly they got all that sorted for him. How often is your live streams, Jordan? I'm thinking I might do it every Monday evening, because I think what I'm going to do now is drop the videos at about 5:30 every Monday. So you'll see, if you go on my YouTube channel, a new video came out this afternoon of a roof clean that I did, so make sure you go and watch that if you haven't. Painful job that was, horrible really. So I think these videos are going to drop at around about, I'm going to try and do a video once a week now at least. So 5:30 on Monday the video drops, and then maybe about 7 o'clock, once my little girl's gone to bed, I might jump on and do a live stream. Do you think that's too regular to do it once a week, or is that... We have plenty to talk about really, don't we? You guys have got some really good questions, which helps me fill the air. And if you're finding benefit in these live streams, then you must tell me, because I'll keep doing it if you do. I'm giving some serious thought about setting up a similar business. My fear is, what if I ruin the block paving? How would I ensure that I'm using the correct chemicals on pavings? So it's very difficult to ruin block paving. You need to be more concerned with natural stone. But just do your research. It's good that you're conscientious, and it's good that you're worried, because it shows that you care and you want to do a good job. You're not just interested in making some quick money. You want to make sure the methods you're using are right for the surface. And all that comes with experience, asking the right questions, and doing research. The amount of hours I put in before I even bought a pressure washer to make sure I was equipped. Because the last thing I want to do is have to replace someone's patio because I've messed up and used the wrong chemicals. That's why I only use a few different chemicals, and the ones that I do get involved with, I know how they work and I know what surfaces I can use with them. I'm not one of these people that have got 10 different barrels of chemicals in the shed, and I'll try a bit of this, I'll try a bit of that, I might mix these together and see how they work. I ain't doing any of that. And I've also been on the Pure Seal approved applicators course as well, which go through all the chemicals. I've got my book here, look. So this is driveway and paving restoration, and it's massive, and it goes through everything. So if you're interested, you should definitely get on that course. Someone mentioned earlier about you're not trying to push courses, which I'm very conscious of. I'm not sponsored in any way by Pure Seal, although we have spoke about stuff before Christmas, because one of my videos of their Smelly Gel Pro did really well, got millions of views, and they sold about 600 units. Was it 600? Not 600. 60. They sold 60 units of this product after I did a video within like less than a week. But we have been in talks about doing some sort of sponsorship thing, and that's the sort of sponsorship that I would happily take and incorporate into the channel, because they're products that I use daily, and they're products that I recommend without needing them to pay me. I'll recommend them anyway because I think they're really good. So would you guys, do you think if you saw, for example, a 30 or 60 second advert in my videos, would that turn you off watching my channel? And would that make you think that I'm trying to push courses or push products for the sake of earning a bit of extra cash? Would it discredit my videos? I'm interested to know what you guys think of that, because I'm not necessarily thinking of the sponsorship money that I might make while I'm promoting this company. I'm more thinking I can make educational videos on these specific products that I use every day and show you guys how they work. I'm promoting a UK-based company that who I've met in person. I've been on the courses with them, and I've spoken privately with them. I've been out for a meal with, the owners of the business on the as part of the Pure Seal course and all that sort of stuff. And so I really rate their stuff, but I don't want to jeopardize the integrity of the channel at the same time. So you'll have to let me know what you guys think of that. What a brilliant device. Mr. Moo, what are you talking about? Are you on about the ball valve? How much did you charge Toyota? Chris? Do you want to have a look? Do you want to have a look at the quote? It's irrelevant without seeing the surface area. I'll pull up the quote. Whatever. Might as well. I'm going to remove the guy's name and address. That's what I've quoted. So there's 2 small oil stains, one on the drive, one on the tarmac, sort of on the path and on the road just out the front. They're not big. And I've set the customer's expectations, like oil is never guaranteed. I know it's not been down very long, but depending on the type of surface that it's on, depending on how long it's been there, depending on the type of oil. I haven't got hot water either. I've not got a boiler. So 25 quid sort of per oil patch. They're not terrible. They're not that bad really. But yeah, that's what I'm charging. Can you see that? We'll check out tonight. Looking forward to more live streams. Oh, nice. I'm glad. I think one's a week. One a week is good. I'm not a streamer personally, but I'm really interested in the videos and it's helping me learn from you. Good. I'm glad. That's the whole point. That's the whole purpose, is if you can ask questions and I can give you a half decent response and you're learning something, that's the goal. Once a week is good. Also, you can fill time with quotes too, which kills 2 birds with 1 stone. Yeah, I mean, if you guys are interested in watching me do more quotes and stuff, I think I'd be happy to do that. I don't want to give away. You know, it's weird when you're showing, because there's going to be a couple of 100 views on this live stream after I end it. Over the next week or so, it'll keep increasing in views. Do I really want hundreds of people knowing how much I'm earning every week? I don't know. Probably not. It's weird talking about money because there's no reason why people shouldn't know what I'm earning. I've got nothing to hide, but it's just a weird subject, isn't it? Asking someone how much they earn. That's essentially what it is. You guys are seeing how much I'm earning. So, in terms of with context, this job is probably going to take me a morning to clean, so probably 9 till 12. Generally on a drive this size, 9 till 12 to do the pressure washing. It's like a 4-car driveway, and then return on a dry day to resand, and that'll probably take less than an hour. Where was I? Do it. It won't stop anyone watching it, in my opinion. Would not be put off from seeing sponsored products, mate. Especially if it's pure seal, their quality. You're sharing best practice and products that work well for you so others can benefit. That'd be well good if you did something like that. Great idea, mate. I would watch either way. Probably just announce an incoming advert if possible, so the folks can go make a cuppa or something. Yeah, it was the ball valve. So, yeah, with the sponsored segments, if it's only like 30 or 60 seconds, I can tell you beforehand, right? Sponsored segment coming up. Feel free to skip or whatever. And yeah, it's not like I'm trying to sell products that I don't use. There's a lot of these YouTubers and stuff, they get sent a free sample, paid for a 30 or 60 second segment, and they don't use the products. And so they're selling stuff and they're pushing courses and stuff that they haven't even been on themselves. So at least these are all products that I'm actually using on a daily basis. And like, I'm not even saying that you can't find similar stuff elsewhere. I'm showing you all the stuff that I buy from Wix and from Screwfix, and I order products from everywhere depending on what I fancy. A lot of the time, it's ease of access when it comes to the products that I buy. It's Screwfix because it's literally around the corner. Travis Perkins for the sand because it's the cheapest, and it's a stone's throw from my house. Pure Seal because they do very specific products really well, and I don't mind waiting a couple of days. But with the hypo, I'm getting my hypo now from a local farm shop, just because it's cheap, and I don't know when I'm going to run out, and I don't want to keep a load of barrels in the back garden that are going to be sat there for weeks. So as soon as I realise I'm about to run out, like I have done almost today, tomorrow I'll go and buy some more from the local farm shop, rather than putting another Pure Seal order in and having like another courier out on the road all morning to deliver that to me. Like, it just seems like a bit of a waste. So the stuff that I'm buying regularly, I'd rather try and get local if I can. What do you charge for fence panels? Good question. I don't often clean fences. I've done a few. I don't know if you saw my short where I did this one.
I had a customer reach out to see if there's anything I could do with these 25-year-old fence panels that have never been cleaned or treated. We started out with a chemical treatment to remove any organic staining and gave it a few weeks to take effect. It did a really good job of brightening up the panels, but we were still left with this dark staining on the cross members. So this time I went with a low pressure wash, 25-degree fan jet on the mini trigger, in long continuous motions to avoid leaving any lines in the wood. It was definitely worth the return visit, and the customer's really pleased, so that's the main thing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.
God damn it, thanks for letting me know. that's annoying. I was saying, how long was I talking for then? God damn it. I was saying I did a hypo treatment. It didn't come out as expected. I did a biocide treatment after that, and that brightened the panels up over the course of about 2 weeks. And I texted the customer and said, how are the panels looking? And he said, there is still some dark staining. I said, right, I'm going to come back and I'm going to pressure wash those cross members. And it looked great in the end, but it did require 3 visits. He's only local, and I only charged about 190 quid for all that work. And I priced it probably less than that, actually. I can't really remember, but I priced it cheap because I hadn't done many, and I really wanted to give it a go. Bloody camera! God, the technical issues on this stream are insane. I'm going to streamline this whole process. If this is something I'm going to be doing regularly, you'll see a vast improvement. I promise you. Quick question, what do you use to clean decking / composite decking? Composite decking you can usually get away with just pressure, just cold water with the fan jet. Actual wooden decking is normally got deep ingrained algae, which if it's untreated wood, or if it's not been painted or not been sealed for a long time, that algae is like deep within the pores of the wood. So you'll need like a biocide treatment. You'll do a light wash and then a biocide treatment, and then that'll brighten up over the course of about a month. Sorry, I'm just catching up on your questions. When power washing a patio with a lot of weeds between the stones, is it wise to clean up and remove the loose weeds, sand in between power washing? I had a lot and it was a lot harder at the end. In between power washing, remove them in between power washing. Can you word that slightly differently? Do you mean clean a bit, scoop up all the sludge, clean a bit more, scoop up that, so you sort of stop starting, or do you mean before you've pressure washed it, you're scraping out the weeds and stuff? It's difficult because each surface is different and each property is different. The joints are always different as well, and so it can be hard to say without seeing the surface really, mate. I did one the other day which was awful. Look at this one. Look at that. I showed this on the last stream, but this was absolutely, it was like a garden. It was like grass growing up between the slabs. They're like sort of old council slabs, and this was the worst one I've ever done for like weeds and growth. And so before I even started, I got my shovel out the car and just lopped the tops off, just scraped along the surface. I didn't try and dig anything out from between the joints because the pressure washer was going to do most of that for me. I just scraped along the surface to take the heads off everything. And even after just doing that, it looked great. And then once I'd pressure washed it, I knew I was going to do a chemical treatment, quite a heavy sodium hypochlorite treatment, which now that I've pressure washed it all and taken the majority of the green away, that sodium hypochlorite is going to sink, is going to be absorbed into all those roots and stuff and organic stuff below. It's not a weed killer, but it can fairly effectively kill organic growth. And so I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how well it's going to look for how long, but it turned out like that, which was a bit of a difference really, considering how it was. They're going to need to keep on top of it with weed killer, else it's going to go back to how it was before fairly quickly. That was the bit at the top, just as bad. So you can see, even after I rinsed it down, I used a lot of hypo and surfactant on it, and I left it down for a good 45 minutes, I reckon. So normally I'll let it dwell for like 20 minutes and you'll see the black spots start to disappear, but I really wanted this to soak into all those joints. I think we all, professionals and those with interest in pressure washing, wish you to go with all chemicals for every scenario possible, including cleaning process for the way you apply and results. So you'd like to see the use of more different chemicals appropriate for each individual surface and stuff, just so that you get an understanding of where to use those. So rather than sort of having to do your own research and try all these different things out yourself, if you could see a channel like mine that are testing things out, doing little trials here and there for random products, we might come across things that are a bit of a game changer. I understand that. Where was I? Thanks for letting me know I was on mute, everyone. What chemical did you use on the fence? First of all, sodium hypochlorite, which I don't recommend in all situations because it'll bleach the wood. If it's going to be treated or if it's going to be painted, then sodium hypochlorite's fine. But if you're looking for like a natural clean that isn't going to damage the wood, you want to just use biocide, in my experience. Considering it's not been cleaned before and the age of it, that fence turned out lovely. Thank you. I think it was quite good. Should we see if anyone's replied to our quote? Do. He's not read it. Do. Right then. Oops, sorry. Oh, I've got some cheesecake in the fridge. Beautiful. So what am I going to be ordering this week? I'm going to get the Gardner flocked brush, which we looked at in the last stream. So the one I've got at the moment is one of these, and it doesn't quite get under the gutters, and the bristles are sort of too far apart to give me a nice even clean. So I'm going to get a nice flocked thick boy brush with some 50-degree fan jets on it. Probably one of them by the looks of it. And then I believe I need to replace the nozzles on my surface cleaner, and there's 3 of them, and it's these little 25-degree ones that screw into the bottom of the surface cleaner. So I'll need 3 of them. Did you charge less when first starting out? I think yes, because I weren't using chemicals. I was quite opposed to using chemicals because I thought, oh, if I work hard enough, I can achieve the same results without chemicals. And I don't have to get involved with it then. I don't have to worry about safety and making sure I know what products are right for which surfaces. And I very quickly realised that you literally can't get rid of black spots without using chemicals, and so I transitioned quite quickly. Then I accounted for that in the price, so my prices went up slightly when I realised I was going to be using a lot of chemicals. And then when I upgraded my equipment, got a bigger machine, got a buffer tank, got a surface cleaner, then my prices probably went up very slightly after that as well. But they've not changed that much over the last 12 months or so. I mean, I've done quotes probably about 6 months ago, and they've been delayed because the people have, they've they say, I can't do this anymore, or I haven't got the money at the moment, so can we cancel? I definitely still want you to do it. And then they'll get back in touch with me like 6 months later, and I'll look at the quote that I did originally, and it's still pretty much exactly the same as what I'd be charging now. So I don't think my prices have changed that much, really. I don't think you should charge less just because you're new to it. If you know you can, and even with family as well, you shouldn't charge less for family. You should be paying what you intend to charge going forward, because if you start low and you're cheap, you'll always be known as the guy that does a cheap job. And I think you can charge more if you can back it up with the work. If you produce great work, then it doesn't matter how high your prices are. When it comes to things like before and afters and your portfolio and stuff, if you want to, you could start out, charge less, just to build up your portfolio. But once you can prove to yourself that you can achieve great results for a customer, you don't need to charge. You don't need to charge less, and you certainly shouldn't be charging less just to win work as well. I'm not interested in being cheaper than the next guy. Like I'm charging exactly what I think the job is worth. And if that lady's gone and got a quote that's 100 quid cheaper, I'm not competing for that job. That's not my customer. It doesn't matter to me whether I get that job or not. And if they come back to you, like a lady said the other day, I broke down her quote to have the front done and the back done, and she says, can I have a discount if I have both done at the same time? I said, no, I don't offer discounts. I'm giving you a competitive price for the amount of work that's involved. So it's up to you. We all run our businesses differently. But you've got to consider the amount of time and energy and equipment you're investing in. All this sort of stuff. Like I've done work for my nan in the past. I've done work for my mom, my sister. I charge them all exactly what I'd charge a regular customer. And if they don't want to pay it, that's fine. Like I've got plenty of work on. I can't necessarily afford to be doing freebies for people just because they're friends or family. And if they want to see you succeed, and if they want to support you, they will want to pay you your regular price. I don't think people should be doing mates rates and things, because you'll end up being taken advantage of. And you'll generally find those jobs that you're doing mates rates are always the most difficult or annoying, or they've got bad drainage, or they're just... These people aren't valuing your time. If someone's asking you for mates rates, I feel like they're not your mate. They're just trying to take advantage of you. You know what I mean? Do you ever charge day rate, Shag? Or do you just charge by the square meter? So, Batman, I am in the process of trying to write a script for this exact subject. I don't know how to word the video. I don't know. I'm not even clear on my idea on the subject just yet. Day rates, I think, apply in some commercial scenarios, but I don't charge day rates because I'd be leaving so much money on the table. Put it this way, if my day rate, I reckon, from what I've charged in the past and stuff, and I worked it out with my accountant the other day as well, I said I reckon I'd be around 235 quid a day. And so if I was doing a big clean, even for like a large commercial client, and I decided that I was going to charge 235 quid a day for 3 days, you'll also find that not only is my spelling terrible, but my maths is also terrible. What did I say? 235 quid for 3 days, 705 quid. If I priced that job per square metre and accounted for all the chemicals, the fuel, the sand, all that sort of stuff, that could potentially be a £2,000 job. And it's up to you if you want to work for a day rate and earn 700 quid, or whether you want to put in the actual value of the quote, stick it in at 2 grand because you've broken it all down and you know exactly what it's going to cost you, and you've got your set price per square metre, which on a massive job you can maybe reduce that. So rather than quoting for £4 per square metre, I might reduce it to £3.50 or even £3, because it's a massive area. It's up to you whether you want to take that gamble, because I'm sure they'd be very, very, very happy to say yes at 700 quid because it's going to take you 3 days. Or you can put in the quote at 2 grand, break down the cost. You've introduced yourself, they've seen your previous work, they know you're going to do a good job, and you can make 2 grand on the job instead. Like, it's a weird subject, because I don't think a day rate necessarily applies very well in pressure washing. Even in like construction and stuff, I don't really understand it. I think if I was hiring someone, because day rates can change as well, like if I'm hiring someone to do my rear patio, to lay a rear patio, and they say, we think it's going to take 3 days, this is my day rate, there you go. And then it takes 4 or 5 days, and I'm paying almost twice as much as I was in the first place. I'm left an unhappy customer, and the guy's just made like an extra 2 days work. Whereas if they give a set price, they've broke down the materials, they've broke down the labour, I know exactly how much it's going to cost, and they're leaving enough money in it for themselves. I'd rather them give me a higher price, and I know that is the price, that's it, it's not moving, and they're going to get the job done no matter how long it takes. That's security for me then, as a customer. That's what I'd prefer. I'm interested to know what you guys think about that, because I'm still trying to work out the premise of the video. I need to be able to word it better than I just did. Where did you get your turbo nozzle from? Rutland Pumps or Equip2Clean? So the first one I bought was from Equip2Clean, but I don't recommend it. The one I recommend now is from Precious Pressure Washers in Stafford. Bit more pricey, but it's classed as a heavy duty turbo nozzle that should in theory last a lot longer. That's the one I've got. So because my machine is 15 litres per minute, I've got the 0.45 nozzle size. The thing I was slightly disappointed with, it doesn't come with a quick release attachment on there, like any normal nozzle you'd expect it to, because that's where it's going to go, and it's going to go into the end of your lance, but it doesn't come with one, so you've got to put your own in or order one. And do you have a minimum charge, like £100 for example, because of travel and unloading equipment? Yeah, I think my minimum cost to even set up is about 125 quid. So I'm not doing jobs cheaper than 125 quid unless it's gutter clearing, gutter cleaning and stuff. I think I'm too cheap on the gutter cleaning. I'm charging about 55 quid for a normal house. That's one run of gutters at the front and one run at the back. That's no like conservatory, no garage, none of that. Just one at the front, one at the back. 55 quid. Set up my vacuum, suck it all out. Job done. And then it's obviously a lot more to go into like washing the externals of the gutters, the faces and the soffits and stuff. A bit more money, but I think I'm too cheap on that. I haven't got like a set strategy for pricing up gutters. Some people do it by the meter, but it just seems, I don't know, I could. I need to talk to HK Jet Washing, because he does a lot of gutters and he's probably got quite a good pricing structure for that. I don't think I ever do day rate, shooting yourself in the foot too much. Yeah, I don't understand it really. I think any time you're offering a day rate, that you could be pricing higher for the job. Every time I've done commercial cleans and I've put in a day rate, I do a lot of gutter clearing for schools and stuff, and I get so much done because I work bloody hard in the day. I work all day clearing the gutters out for these schools and stuff, and I think, God, if this was a regular customer in my town and their property was this big, the amount of money I'd be charging for, and yet I'm charging 235 quid to clear the, yeah, it's insane. They're getting such a great deal because I've decided to charge a day rate for it, but I'm relying on them coming back to me and bringing me more work, which they always do. I'm desperate for a wee. Bear with me a second. Sorry, I'll be back in a minute. Sorry about that. I'm sorry you guys couldn't quite see that turbo nozzle, could you? There you go. How do you figure out nozzle size? So there's a chart somewhere. Nozzle chart. Here we go. I always get confused with this because it's not totally clear on how you should read it. Let me make my camera. My camera's obnoxiously big. I'm sorry. So you take your flow rate. Sorry, you take your bar, the bar of your machine first. So mine is 250, I think. And then you come down to flow rate. Mine's about 15 litres per minute, which is there. And then you go all the way back across and that gives you 0.45 or 0.45. I don't know how this applies to your surface cleaner, because I've got 3 jets on my surface cleaner, and I think you can use different nozzles depending on what surface you're cleaning. So if you wanted to clean block paving quite aggressively, you'd have like presumably thinner nozzles. So I'm not sure how you'd work it out with a chart like this. I don't know. Has anyone got any other questions before we sort of wrap this up? We've been going, how long have we been going for? Almost 3 hours. I'll probably hang around for like another 20 minutes, I reckon. If you haven't already, check out my new video. Got videos coming out every Monday now, I reckon. I've just posted this one. I'll put it in the chat for you. There you go. And yeah, let me know if you've got any more questions before I head off, and I'll do my best to answer them. What's going on Facebook today? Do any of you guys watch The Pool Guy? He does some very interesting jobs. It's amazing how you can make content out of anything. Like, this is just a regular guy. It's not like he's super over the top, and he's just a regular guy doing a job that he finds interesting, and he just records what he does. He's not even really giving advice. He's just sort of filming his process, and it makes for such an interesting video. He's all over TikTok, isn't he? $11,000 likes. Doesn't tell you how many views he's got. I would like to watch some of these reels and shorts with you, but last time I got demonetized because they were playing songs in the background, and YouTube doesn't like it when you play songs that you don't have the rights to. My feed is full of crap generally. This might be my next machine, you know. Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm wondering if I've got a 15 litre per minute machine. I was thinking about upgrading to a 21 litre per minute, and then that'll be it then. And that'll be the upgrade that I stick with then, and then I look after this machine. It's going to last me forever. But I'm thinking, if I'm going to want to use my surface cleaner on block paving, I think 21 litres a minute is just on the edge of what you can do with block paving. So I'm wondering whether I go for a bigger, more industrial machine, pay a bit more, but I will never need to upgrade again. Yeah, Green Army, man. I think I'll be going to PWS for my next machine. I wonder what they've got. Have they got those machines on their website? Ah, welcome the Dobbin. What's up? Do. How much do you reckon for first startup? So I did a video a while back that shows you exactly how I started up and what I used and how much I spent. And there is the video, and I will try and link it in the chat. There you go. Give that a watch and see what you reckon. Right, pressure washers. I wonder if they do like a 25 litre per minute machine. Just like cold, that isn't as like part of a mount. Do you use the unloader valve to control the pressure on your machine? No, I've never touched the unloader valve. I leave it all the way open and I just adjust the revs. I change the pressure by adjusting the revs. So it's the Alpha A2. You can spec these to get pretty much what you want from them. So here I'd probably go for the GX390, the Honda, 21 litre 200 bar, and then the turbo pack, and that's coming out at 1800 plus VAT. So you're looking about just over £2,000 for a 21 litre per minute machine with all the accessories. Or what's the difference with these? Bambino A2, Alpha A2. Not sure what the Bambino is. I've had a customer's back garden sent to me. I've sent you a pic on Instagram. It's imprinted concrete with half sealer applied, as you can see. How would you tackle it? So they've only done half of it, and then they've sort of left it. Again, I've done a video on this subject, pretty much this exact scenario. You guys aren't going to be able to see that, I'm sorry. But I did some imprinted concrete, and it shows you my mistake that I made with it, which was the Bambinos on a smaller trolley. This video here, so this is the first part where I washed it, and then the second part when I sealed it and it went wrong, and then the third part, I should put all these videos in a playlist, shouldn't I, because there's 3 of them, where I actually completed the job. So it might be worth a watch for you if you're interested in that one. There's the link for that one. Stick it on another tab or something and watch it a bit later if you fancy it. I got the Hyundai 15 litre per minute machine. Don't know if it's any good, just hoping it will last 12 months before I can upgrade to the 21 litre. It will be perfectly fine. 15, that's what I've been using for the last 12 months, is 15 litres per minute, and it's been great. You got that behind the sofa, haven't you? What are you talking about? All right, Dan. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, you bought me cheesecake. Ooh. What's Dan on about?
What?
You got that behind the sofa.
Got what behind the sofa?
I don't know what he's talking about. Weirdo. What's he sending to the group?
RuneScape stuff.
Half's gone white, they've messed it up. Oh, okay. So probably the reason it's gone white, they've applied the sealer and it's not been perfectly dry, or there's moisture coming up from the
should have bought a plate.
yeah, probably.
You gonna use it?
No, not a piece of paper as a plate. I went and got some Tesco's specially selected dinner tonight, and got some cheesecake. This is Sophie, everyone. Say hello to Sophie. Sophie.
What do you want to do then?
Rapid Man, what's up?
Can't bother to go downstairs.
Go on, go get a plate. A little saucer or something. So it's probably gone white because there's moisture that's come up, probably from between the joints. Needs to be bone dry when you're doing any kind of sealing like that. There's also a chance they've used the wrong sealer. Do you think it's a mistake to use the unloader valve to control the pressure? I've had mixed responses from the guys on YouTube. Some seem to use the unloader valve. I was under the impression that that is what the unloader valve is there for, is to adjust the pressure. But it's difficult to use. Once it's on, once it's open all the way, and you don't touch it for a week, to then try and change the pressure again, it's really stiff. From what I've found anyway.
Dan said, hello, Sophie.
There you go, Mishi.
No, can you do it? You got a table there. What are you smiling
You're
at?
all about equal responsibility, aren't you?
No.
You've gone and got it, so I do this bit, yeah?
No, you literally got the table there.
You're funny.
I'll take yours back down, thank you.
Enjoy that cheesecake, I will. Oh, well, what is this sauce? Is that like a raspberry sauce?
Yeah, exactly that.
Beautiful.
It's like you've read the packet.
Why are you being horrible to me?
I'm not. I'm not getting scissors if I need scissors. I'm not going back down.
So do they do a 25 litre per minute machine? $14, $15, $14. I'm sure they do like industrial machines. I wonder if AC pressure washers.
Get the sauce open on one turn.
Can you get Kippy off Lucas' bed, please? Because he's gonna have a
Suffocate.
allergic reaction. You shouldn't be in here, cat. She sneaks in. Whenever this door's open, the cat will sneak in and lie on my son's pillow, and he's allergic to her.
Sorry, Kim.
And so he ends up coughing all night. There you go.
Didn't want that much.
Oh, thanks for the advice. Great live show. Oh, no worries, Neil. Thanks for watching.
A bit sweaty. Come
Am
on.
I? I'm new to this and starting up with a 12 litre per minute with an 18-inch surface cleaner. I think you're going to struggle there, Rapid Man. I did exactly that.
Have some like Coke, please. Tasty.
Yeah, you can have it all. I started out with an 11 litre per minute machine, and I tried a 16-inch surface cleaner, just one that you clip onto the end of your lance, and it was slow. It struggled basically.
How's non-alcoholic beverages?
It's alright. I've got non-alcoholic beer tonight, and it's actually alright. It feels like I'm drinking beer. I think they're 0.4%, so there's technically still a smidge in there.
Oh, hopefully you won't be annoying that tonight.
Wow. Well. And then obviously the bigger you go with the surface cleaner, the less effective it's going to be. And so for an 18-inch surface cleaner, you're probably going to want to, in my experience, you use a machine at least 15 litres per minute. Oh. Pressure washers and parts. Pressure washer and bundles. Cold water pressure washers. I think the diesel ones are the more industrial ones, aren't they? Get on the whiskey. It's not necessarily the alcohol, it's also the calories. I mean, it's not necessarily the calories, it's also the alcohol. Like I don't want to be feeling rough the next day. If I drink whiskey, I'll feel rough the next day. So the diesel ones, I think, are the more like industrial, commercial style ones. So that massive machine there is only 15 litres per minute still. That one's 21. Thor Black Edition. Over 10 grand. 21 litre fuel tank. You can go 40 litres per minute on this thing. Bloody hell. Imagine your arms after that. That's alright, Rapid Man. Also, when you're first starting out and you've got your 12 litre per minute machine, don't even attempt to use a surface cleaner on block paving, because you won't get results. There'll still be weeds and moss between the joints and all that sort of stuff. I was pulling my hair out wondering why it wasn't working, and there's just not enough flow going into the surface cleaner. There's not enough water coming out of the machine. So I'd only ever use the surface cleaner on like natural stone patios and stuff. Let's price up a 25 litre per minute, 300 bar machine. 10.5 grand plus VAT. Damn. I don't think that'd even fit in my van. I'd need to upgrade my van before I upgrade the machine. So do they literally not sell one for less than that does a higher flow rate? That one's 15 litres per minute. Let's just type in 25 LPM pressure washer, because that's around about where I want to be. I think that's going to allow me to use my surface cleaner on block paving. I wonder what Sid's got. Oh, AC pressure washers. Here we go. 25, 300 bar. 3.5 grand plus VAT. V-twin electric start. Is that a diesel machine? Still got your wheelie bin. Was looking at them on Google. Once I saw yours. I was looking at them on Google once I saw yours on YouTube. Jordan, did you buy my actual wheelie bin? Or are you talking about you've made one since watching my video? Because I sold the one that I made. Someone came quite a long way for it. I swear I said like 40 minutes ago that I was going to end in 20 minutes. I'm interested in this now. Cold water pressure washers. Why doesn't it show it here now then? Oh. Oh, I was looking at the diesel ones. Petrol pressure washers, here we go. So I don't necessarily need the trolley because my current one is van mounted anyway. So I could go static. Probably save a bit of money on the lack of trolley as well. Oh, are you talking about the VTUF one? This thing. So I made on my channel, I made one almost identical to this for 89 quid with everything that this has got. Same size, everything, 89 quid, and they're charging 319 quid for it, which is bonkers. It's essentially a buffer tank, but it's a wheelie bin so you can move it around the property as well. This is what I've been doing with the carpet cleaning machines. Good fun to spec it up. Yeah, it's like it's difficult to know where to buy the stuff from though, because you can go to one supplier and you think, okay, that's just how much this costs, and then you go to another one and they're charging almost double for like something that looks very, very similar. So it's always a worry that you might be missing something somewhere else that's a lot cheaper, and you never know the customer service and all this sort of stuff. I always talk myself out of buying stuff like this. Like I'll spend months speccing something up and trying to figure out what I want, and then I'll just never pull the trigger because I just think, well, the one I've got is fine. I reckon I'll only upgrade my pressure washer when mine breaks. To be fair, it's already broke like 3 times. The unloader valve, the little spring in the unloader valve just disintegrates, and so the pressure doesn't work properly when you pull the trigger and stuff. And so I have to strip the unloader valve down, replace the spring. It's a nightmare. I'm one of them. I think I'm really tight. I'm one of them people that just don't want to spend the money unless I absolutely have to. Right, so what we're looking at, so 21 litre 200 bar, 1600 plus VAT. That's for the Honda. If we go up to, oh, look at this, 30 litres per minute, 125 bar. Why is that bar so low? So you're putting out 30 litres per minute of water, but the pressure is lower. Bar can be converted to PSI, can't it? But litres per minute is something totally different. Bar and PSI are like the same thing, just measured slightly differently. Litres per minute is the amount of water that's going through. So why would that be so low? 30 litres per minute, 125 bar. And then you've got this one that's 30 litres per minute at 200 bar. It's weird with the bar and the pressure. I always thought that was determined by the size of the nozzle on the end of the lance. I'm going with the ones that with cheap spare parts, and the one that everyone else is using. Yeah, as long as it's got good reviews, that's the main thing for me. A lot of these websites, because they're such specific machines, a lot of people are either going into the supplier to buy them in person, or they're just they're not finding time to leave reviews, and so it's very difficult to know. This one's AC pressure washers have got a very good reputation in the forums, same as PWS, same as these guys. These are all over the forums. They do a lot of good work as well, but I don't think these guys have some of the beastier machines. I wonder if they're under the van mounts. I'm not interested in the hybrid one. I'm not after a boiler just yet. So yeah, these are only 21 200 bar. I would love this setup though. This is awesome, isn't it? With the reel attached. That'd be cool. So the one I'd probably go for would be probably 25 litres per minute at 250 bar. That would be an absolute monster. Briggs & Stratton. So it's not a Honda like I wanted, but I've heard good things about these as well, so there's probably not much in it, to be fair. It's got the return to tank bypass. Pump gearing could be different. Do you have a van setup video? Yes. It's a little bit old, but it's still relevant. I haven't really... don't think I've changed anything really since I recorded it. This one here. And also, if you're interested, the next one after that is how I've got my water tank plumbed in, and that's only a 3-minute video. I'll link that in the chat for you. Hi Neil. How do you deal with flooding? Do you use a gutter cleaner? What do you think about sludge pumps? So I had a job a couple of weeks ago. This one here, which looked like it was going to be a straightforward driveway clean. I was doing all the gutters, cleaning the drive, and then I realised this soak away at the bottom of the drive was flooding, and the water weren't going away. I was literally stood there waiting for it. Turn the machine off. I was waiting. How long is this taking for the water to drain away? And it wasn't moving. And so I took all the grates off of this soak away at the bottom of the drive, and I ran a screwdriver along it to see where the hole was, because eventually you'll run your screwdriver along and then it'll dip down, and that's where the hole is. Normally it's just blocked, so you pull some stones and whatever out, and then the water all goes away. This one didn't have one. And I knocked on the door. I said, do you know where the drain on this soakaway is? Because the water doesn't seem to be going anywhere. He said, oh, they didn't put one in. There isn't one. I was like, so what was the point in them putting this soakaway at the bottom of the drive if there's nowhere for the water to actually go once it's in there? He was like, oh, they've just designed it poorly, I think. So that changes the whole job. I've gone from a very simple driveway wash to now putting down probably 1,000 litres of water onto a driveway that's going to flood every 5 minutes. So I'll show you what I had to do in the end.
Occasionally you come across that one tool that gets you out of some difficult situations, and today it was the Panther gutter vacuum that really saved the day on this job. And I've been meaning to shout these guys out for a while. The team at Gutter Vacuum Systems, specifically Julia, have been really helpful in the past to make sure I've got the right equipment for the job I need to do. And I've got their larger GVS 3600 as well for the big commercial jobs. But I carry the little Panther around in the van with me for all those domestic cleans. I use it at least once a week. Luckily I had it with me today because the soakaway on this driveway wasn't actually leading anywhere. There was no hole for the water to drain out, so it was all just flooding at the bottom of the driveway. It still took about 3 times longer than it should have, but it just shows how having the right equipment can really save you time in the long run. This isn't sponsored, but if you're in this industry or you're in the market for this sort of equipment, have a look on their website or give them a call. I honestly think they're one of the best in the business.
So I had to suck all the water out with the vacuum. And the tank's not as big as it looks because the float comes about halfway down the tank. So once it's halfway full of water, it pushes that float up and cuts the suction off the machine. And so I did about 10 or 15 trips sucking the water up, going to the drain at the top of the drive on the road, pouring the water down, coming back down, sucking it up, starting up the pressure washer again, cleaning for another 5 minutes, sucking all the water out again. Oh, it was a nightmare. That job probably took over an hour longer than it should have. But otherwise, other techniques, you can brush it away with a big dozer brush. You can try and brush the water in a certain direction. You can even brush water uphill, I've found. Like, as long as you keep the momentum, you can change the direction of the water. Some people use those snakes, water snake, water sock. Some people use these to make sure the water doesn't go where you don't want it. It's not the absorbent sock that I'm thinking of. It's just like a heavy sock. I didn't think they absorbed the water. I think they just push the water in a certain direction. Something similar to this, anyway. No worries, Jordan. The sludge pumps might be quite good, but it's something else to get out the van and carry around with you first of all, and then you've got to find a socket for it, and then presumably you've got to clean them out afterwards to stop them blocking up. So is this my next machine then? I really do want to order. I've never ordered anything from AC Pressure Washers. I did want to order from PWS, but I don't know if they do a machine like this. I'm sure they could put one together. They make machines all the time. They do a lot of custom work. Right then, I think I'm going to end it there, guys. If you haven't already, check out my new video. I've just posted it. I reckon I'm going to be doing... Oh, that was a good timing. The camera's gone off. I reckon I'm going to be trying to do a video once a week around about 5:30 every Monday, you might see a new upload from me. And yeah, give them a watch. I'd really appreciate a thumbs up on the videos, or a comment, or some type of interaction that catches YouTube's attention, so it pushes it to other people as well. Thanks for the tips tonight. I really appreciate the subs, and there's a couple of you that have joined the you're becoming a paid member of the channel, and the donations. I really do appreciate it. It's very kind of you. So go on over to my YouTube channel, watch my videos. I hope you find it useful, and I might see you again around about this time next week. Thanks for watching. See you in a bit.